But this was the stage, and I guess this is the time when I can start talking about my anime a little bit more. I'm actually really thankful that we had to go through this entire process to rewrite everything because it gave me a little bit of time to do a bit more research. Initially, the isekai world was more typical to your Tolkien-esque fantasy, isekai world. Yeah. The main character was actually an elf.
Okay.
Because I like anime elves.
Who doesn't like elves?
I just like anime.
I mean, who doesn't like elves?
So if I was gonna, if I was gonna make a character, there's okay. Actually, no, I forgot. There's one big change I made from like my first screenplay to my second screenplay because I was like, I feel like there's a missing ingredient from the first screenplay to the second screenplay.
Okay. Sister and brother related.
No. The big thing I added was like, it's missing a cute anime girl. That's why I didn't get greenlit. Not because the screenplay sucked. It's missing a cute anime girl.
Yeah.
And what do I like? What do I like? Anime elves. That's it. That's the main character. But thankfully, because of this process, I was like, actually, I want to completely pivot and do something different that I haven't personally seen, but I think would be pretty fucking cool. I want to make a world that revolves around Southeast Asian mythology, something that I haven't really seen before, something that I don't think has been really portrayed.
I don't
in
think
anime
I've ever seen it before
as often.
I can't think of one. At all.
Yeah, and I think after I suggested that, the team got really super excited. And I'm so fucking happy and I'm so fucking proud. But
I mean, there's probably a story that they'd be interested in, but wouldn't be able to tell themselves, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
Being able to have someone from Southeast Asia, I think, helps a lot.
So I'll just take you through the entire process of what it's like to create this world. So basically, I just got a bunch of I made a few mood boards. Some of this is Southeast Asia. Some of this is Chinese.
Yeah, I was going to say some of them that
the reason for that is because you go to Vietnam, for example, there's a lot more of a Chinese influence there,
especially up in the north.
Yeah. Exactly. So
neighbors.
even though it was mainly going to be Thai focused because that's what I'm most knowledgeable about. I wanted a flavor. I wanted a flavor of a little bit of everything that I could find online. I really like the aesthetics of these different runes as well, which we've integrated into the entire world building as well. Different aesthetic of towns and stuff and rivers and homes and stuff like that. Shout out to Indonesian homes. I really liked the aesthetic of some the Indonesian homes.
Indonesia mention, let's go.
And then did a bunch of research on different monsters.
These Southeast Asian yokai.
Yeah, mythological creatures. And stuff like that. Anything that I could help build.
Dude. That's metal as fuck.
Yeah, so did as much research to different creatures and stuff like that. And the creature they really loved the design of was Ty. Can you type in the Thai Naga? So they really like this. So the Naga is this mythological creature that pretty much appears everywhere. But they really liked the feeling of the Thai version, which I was very happy about.
That's he's got a sword for a head.
Yeah,
it's kind of sick.
Yeah,
Damn.
It's you can see versions of this. If you go to any Thai temple, you'll probably see some kind of statue, something like this. So it's something that I am very very familiar with aesthetically. In Thailand, we call it Payanak, so we don't call it the Naga. And it's it's a big part of the Thai culture in general. Like I said, you go to any temples, you will probably see some kind of statue of this around. It is meant to be this mythological creature that basically lives in the river and controls the flow of water. So we blame it for anytime there's excess rain or shit like that, we're fucking probably pissed off the
Naga.
pissed off the Naga. So they were like, okay, we want to add this creature to the world.
Yeah.
And the only instructions I gave them was, what I wanted to make sure was that this wasn't necessarily based on one singular country. I just wanted the feel of it. So something that takes inspiration, but I don't want a one-to-one kind of like, I don't want this specifically to be the Payanak, I want it to be inspired from it. But if you're going to make anything, make it your own design and make it something that audiences can tell is inspired from the stuff without actually completely
just doing one-to-one.
Just taking the idea.
I wonder, they're pretty cooked. No.
Yeah, and they came back to me with a design.
Yeah, so my first introduction to any visuals from this anime was Gaunt showing me this Naga design from the anime.
Yeah.
And immediately when I saw it, because at this point, we had already agreed that, we were going to help you make merch for this anime.
Yeah.
And immediately, the moment I saw this, I was like, oh my God, I have so many ideas for this. This looks so sick.
Yeah, I remember you showing us this.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, this shit goes hard.
They showed me this and I was like, holy shit. Because my pitch for this, because with the Payanak, it's like there are some really, really scary designs out there, and some of the early designs of this that we made were definitely very, very like scary, intimidating. But I wanted to do something different. I wanted the Payanak to kind of like be a part of the world, but also have a relationship with its inhabitants there, not necessarily as a supreme godlike being.
Like the big bad monster of the world, or
like the big bad monster of the world. But definitely, I wanted it to be top of the food chain.
Yeah, right.
And goddamn, is this not top of the food chain?
I mean, what's going to take it down? Right?
This is the top of the drip chain, bro. Like, this boy looks good.
Yeah, and they came back to me with this, and I was like,
so cool.
I was like, holy shit, this. I mean, I'm obviously biased because I'm Thai, and seeing something like this, which is my exact instructions was make it intimidating without making it too oppressive or scary, and they somehow took that and made it into just the perfect energy that I wanted to convey. My second thought when looking at this was, I'm kind of shitting myself. How the fuck are we going to animate this?
Yeah.
That does look like a challenge.
Look, I look at this and the Fate Stay Night 3D dragon just pops into my head. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, this is going to be
the crowd of 3D people just like head.
Every isekai with a 3D dragon just like rushes to my brain.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, this looks so cool on paper. But I'm absolutely fucking terrified. I'm absolutely terrified.
Yeah.
But I approve the design because of course I do. And I do ask them beforehand, are you happy with me approving this design? Because you are the ones that are going to have to draw it and bring it to life. And the I didn't really get a yes. I didn't really get a concrete answer.
Yeah.
They're like, it might be tough.
What if they were like, we were hoping you'd say no.
They're like,
well, 3D.
Yeah. I think the producer looks at the director looks at the producer, and it's like, so desu ne. 頑張ります.
That's when you know shit is tough.
Yeah, that is the most reluctant yes a Japanese man can give you. It's just like, all right, let's give it a crack.
Yeah, they gave it a crack, but
Ganbarimasu in Japanese is literally just like, yeah, it's not going to work, but we'll try.
Yeah, we'll do our best.
We'll do our best. We'll do our best, but yeah, so they come up with like the world design as well, which, because here's the thing about building a world. I've never built a world before, but as soon as we added this creature, it was almost like the world started forming around this creature.
Well, yeah, where would the creature live?
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
What would
yeah.
it look
So one thing. I'm sorry if I'm
No, dude, this is
Say,
interesting,
listen,
bro.
I think everyone wants to know.
I'm sorry if I'm saying this in spurts because it's like different things coming at different times. So one of the big issues when I said I want to make an isekai was Ohashi-san basically broke it down for me. He's like, in most isekai, the first episode, the first 20 minutes is pure world building, pure exposition. You want to build a world and also tell a story within 20 minutes. Normally you can have one or the other, but the big challenge that we had to do was how do we build up this world without, I don't know how many isekai you've seen, but normally like the first 5 minutes is like, all right, here's the expedition dump of the world, the mechanics and everything. Yeah.
It's like, here's the kingdom, here's the magic, here's the everything. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, let's try to tell as much of the story of the world visually as we can, because I actually have faith in my audience, or just in just an audience in general, to pick up on subtle cues. So when making the world, I was like, try to make it so there is as much environmental storytelling as you can, so people can infer on what this kind of world is like, what the vibe is like. It's more of like a vibe test and a vibe check, where we created this whole culture, we created this whole kind of like relationship with the inhabitants of this world, which is called Euthania, which is just has no meaning. It's just a word I made up, and I googled it, and no one had used that word before. But we had this creature, and we're like, okay, this is going to be. We want this creature to have a big presence, and the world kind of started forming around the creature. So they came up with this concept art. And what do you think you can infer from these two drawings? What kind of world do you think this is?
All right. Well, man, this is pressure on us now.
I'm just curious. I'm just curious.
Well, I look at that and think like, okay, well, there is, clearly a central kingdom or central, town, I guess, in a rather desolate world. I would like to think, where most people will either come to there or, mainly focus on their activities there.
Okay.
And then the giant pillar in the middle, I would assume, has some kind of maybe spiritual or religious symbolism
I was gonna
to
say,
it.
it looks like like a Mecca kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like there's some kind of ancient artifact they've built a city around.
Yeah.
They were like, this is symbolic.
Or like, we have to protect
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
And that probably explains like the giant sheet that's around it as well.
I'm so fucking proud.
Oh, thank you.
And I'm so happy as well. I'm so happy that you guys were able to infer all of that.
God, it was like doing an English test.
Yeah.
It's like write an essay.
because I didn't have to explain that there, because that means that from my screenplay, I can save out the exposition that there is this kind of like religious relationship between the inhabitants and the thing in the middle, which when the Naga flies out of it, you're probably going to infer that this is the Naga's nest in the middle. Since it's kind of like, since it is assumed. And with the things around it, you're like, okay, there's probably something religious going on. They have, they're working with it. Like you said, they're protecting it as opposed to like being scared of it.
Yeah.
And it's like little things like this, where so many little things that we have to think about visually, where as someone who watches a lot of isekai, I wanted as little exposition and explaining as I possibly could in this. And instead, I just wanted the audience just to feel the vibe of the world. And you don't need to know every little thing about what the culture is like, what's going on inside the city. We know that because we created the world, but we wanted you to just like vibe check the world and be like, okay, I feel like this happens in this world and that happens in that world.
Like, as long as you're not completely clueless, right?
Yeah, exactly.
For sure.
And that makes me happy because that means something's gone right.
Well, yeah, I mean, the design just makes sense.
Yeah. Oh, I got to show you this one as well because they didn't just make the adult design as well.
Yeah.
They went full ham with this. And they made the entire life cycle.
Damn.
Oh,
And
look at the little baby.
look
It's a
at
cute, marketable plushie.
It is a cute, marketable plushie.
but yeah, they made an entire life cycle of this thing, and it is going to appear on screen for like maybe 2 or 3 cuts. That's
Right.
it. But I look at some of this. I look at these guys, and I'm like,
So cute.
and I'm like, goddamn.
No,
Goddamn, look
but,
at-
I, but I
look-
think that's fine, right? Because it's like, just like by showing it, even for like a tiny little bit, it just like, I feel like it's not necessary. Like people who are going to watch this are not going to be like, well, I need to know exactly how it's going to evolve and everything like that. I feel it's just good to show it a little bit to be like, this is where it actually comes from.
Yeah.
And then that also just adds a little extra information to the backstory, which they can use to infer to, or, if they don't want to, then that's fine. It's just like kind of there, right? So
Yeah.
I think it's, good, definitely good to have this as an addition.
Yeah, and it was kind of like, remember when we learned about how like Trigon Stampede was made, and they said that they had 2 years in pre-production, just pure world building and the history of this world of Trigon Stampede before they even started any work on the actual project. And I'm like, I truly fucking get this now because we spent so much time building like the literal intricacies of this world that makes sense for us, but we will never. It's not going to be spelled out in the anime at all. Like I said, it's all to make just a consistent vibe and a consistent logic of the world that makes sense. Even though we're not specifically explaining it, it's important for everyone on the team to understand what is going on and how this world works and what is the smaller details between everything. And it really made me appreciate anyone who has, made a fictional world at all. Because it reminded me of this one interview with, do you remember the anime series Aoya Only Speaks in Russian or something like that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that one.
Because I remember I saw I read an article where originally that was meant to be set in a fantasy world where the characters couldn't understand each other because it was like a different language, and then the author realized, wait, people speak different languages on Earth. I don't want to make a fantasy world. That sounds like
I'd rather just
Elves
get a
are you
language.
telling me there are people who don't speak Japanese out there? What the fuck?
I mean, that's how it must
No
feel
way.
there, right?
no fucking way. So I truly understand it now because goddamn, it takes so much effort to build a world, which is why now I understand why most people go with the structure of like what they're familiar with. They take a fantasy
Just use the
world or
language
just
there
like
as well.
JRPG world, and they're like, okay, let's use this as the basis. Because doing something completely new just takes so much effort.
Yeah, especially for it to make sense as well.
Yeah. And eventually, I changed my mind and we're like, okay, we should probably not make the girl an elf girl. There are elves, as I found out. There are elves, as I found out.
Damn it, I've lost all interest.
There are elves in Southeast Asian mythology, as I found out, but they are so... I think I found a folklore where there is something that resembles elves that comes from Malaysia. And I asked Nabi about it, and he had no idea about it. So I was like, okay, this is probably like a really, really like
super niche.
like super niche thing. So probably going to have to pivot. And so the main race changed from like elves to something a bit closer to home as well. There are other statues in Thailand that you see that are sometimes like half bird, half human creatures. And I thought, okay, this seems if we're going with the whole Thai theme, let's stick to that for this one. And so the main race is based around the can you search up Kinara or Kinari?
Kinara.
Yes. So
wow.
these are also some statues that you can find
that's cool.
around.
Cool.
And so
Damn.
And so they're kind of like based on these creatures. Initially, I wanted them to have like fully physical like wings.
Yeah.
Fully physical wings and, you know, with body parts that resemble birds. But the director did have one request, which was to, and you know, when I'm pitching this stuff, I'm glad the director's there because he can kind of like ground me to be like, this is really going to be hard to convey in animation.
A lot of movement.
Yes. And so the one request he had was, can it be a little bit more humanoid and can we make the wings magic? Because that way I don't, you know, you know,
Doesn't
think
have
about
to be
it.
there the whole time.
Yeah. Think about it. It doesn't have to be there the whole time, and you don't have to worry about size as much and color as well. So it would have just, and he had enough fucking thing on his plate with the.
He was already sweating
The
with
Naga.
the Naga.
With the Naga.
Well, we
Okay.
greenlit the Naga. I did not realize what I was signing up to.
It's like, how many
Can
of
we
your
chill on the other shit?
How many of your characters are gonna fly, dog?
Like, please
Put them on the ground.
Do they got legs or not, guys? Just decide.
we are already a month behind schedule. And I'm like, okay. I understand.
It's so funny.